Hello, 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 everyone. Happy Fed Day. How is everyone doing? Hey, Daniel. Good afternoon, Patrick. Good evening, Anissa. There a bunch of people hiding in the background, not typing anything. Hope everyone 5 likes so far. So thanks for the likes again. If you're in the background, say hi. Do something. Thanks for tuning in, though. Good evening, Charles. All right. So we had the Fed hike 25 basis points. I'll give it pause hawkish, not committal to anything, but then not, I mean, if I hear data dependent one more time, But this is probably it for a while. Let's look at the Fed Watch tool. Let's just refresh it once more. We're sitting, and next one's definitely looking like a pause so far. Pause, and then cut September, cut November, cut December. So that's the way the market is looking at it right now. Earlier, we had the S&P Global Composite and Services numbers, both in expansion still, 53.4, 53.6 respectively. ISM expansion, employment expansion, business activity little down, but still an expansion. Prices up a little, higher than forecast, only up slightly as the last little number. And the services new orders up. So these were pretty decent reports. Then, of course, the Fed rate. What's coming up tomorrow? Again, initial and continuing jobless claims at 7:30. We got balance of trade. What else? And that's pretty much it besides earnings stuff. Remember, earnings tomorrow afternoon is a big day. And on Friday, we got non-farm payroll Friday. Pretty decent reversal. We had a lot of volatility during the press conference, but then after as the presser was winding up, broke down from some key levels. Uh, Not that bloody. I mean, you had mega caps mixed, Nvidia pulling back, AMD getting smashed, Qualcomm down after earnings, Amgen, Pfizer, some healthcare taking it down, crude selling off continued. Overall, energy the weakest, healthcare held up the best, followed by comm services and utilities. We already looked at that. Fear and greed back to neutral mode. We popped up in the greed mode a little today and then back to neutral. Let's see who is here. Let's see who's popping in now. Hey, Todd. Welcome. Hey, Paul. Quasimodo, hello. Will William, did it change much since last time? Good afternoon, bad market. It wasn't that bad. I mean, I'm expecting a continued pullback. So, hello, Amadeus. Good afternoon, Jacob. Uh, Recession, sorry, I meant expansion. Powell quote of the day. Slow, boring market, a real snoozer. So, George thinks it's a bad market, and Paul thinks it's a slow, boring market. By the way, Qualcomm is down. Qualcomm is down. I was briefly looking at some solar stuff, but nothing much. Tomorrow morning, Moderna, RC, it used to be RCL. It's still RCL, but it's Royal Caribbean Group. Peloton, ConocoPhillips, Shell. But the big is after the close with Apple. Apple. If the market has a chance of bouncing, it would be off Apple after the close for a key reversal. And then Friday is sort of quiet. Where are we sitting? Looks like we're going to close below the 62.5 of this little run up. And I'm really focused on over the next couple days, at least test this 4091 to 4087 area. We still have the double top in play on the S&P. So, Quasimodo had Portillo's beef for lunch. Place was untypically half empty. It's official. We're in a recession. What if Portillo's? Maybe it was just an off day for Portillo's. Although Portillo's, maybe people were going through the drive-through. Was the drive-through line busy? The one near me, I don't eat Portillo's all the time, but if I'm you know, it's across the street from Home Depot. So if I have to go to Home Depot and I'm hungry, maybe pop into Portillo's, but the drive-through line is astronomically long. You go in there and it's like half a quarter full. Again, are we going to start on food? I'm so hungry. I'm doing a Pequods this weekend. We shall see. We shall see if there's any hope for the market. Apple, remember, everything's consolidated into this small group of stocks. If they start rolling over, watch out below. Finding Furus, good afternoon. Thank you for being here. Starbucks, yes, Starbucks took a shellacking. Let's just jump to Starbucks right now. That took this. Come up, little pause. Right above the closing, just above the harmonic, and then kaboom, 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 kaboom. That is a massive candle down, man. When this market turns on you, it turns abruptly. Let's just peek in on Qualcomm. Qualcomm. So we had the double top from before that played out, formed a double bottom. Remember, potential, but that could have been triggered on a gap up from earnings. Earnings were not that good. Next key levels 108.68, 107, then 105.20. Let me put a line here. Let me just take off this old line and put a line down here. So that's pretty key to watch for. Also, if you're looking at this, bunch of people looking at this channeling thing, clearly broke down, retesting with the rotation zone. You see the rotation zone, retest rotation zone, rotating down, forming the potential double, and then continuing the down move. So with that, weeklies are getting to the bottom, but not yet oversold. So, but there's coming into some key support, so I'd watch for a little bounce possibly in the next few days. What else? What else? Oh, let me just peek at AMD. AMD also getting shellacked. AMD, I'm expecting a retest of the 200 at this point. So, where does that look like for the NASDAQ? NASDAQ still holding the rotation zone and the 50% harmonic. So if we break down tomorrow, I'm focusing at 13,000, 1309, but 13,000. 1309 something on a closing basis. I just watched 1309. Why? If we close below there, then I'd watch for specifically the retest of this 12,865 area to about 12,800 with the 50 right in the way. But I need that close below 13. I'll just really watch 13,000. Remember, daily cycles rolling over. Weekly cycles not yet at the bottom. Back to the S&P real quick. Weekly cycles at the top, which means, and remember, the Fed meetings have been a pretty decent pivot. This was the March pivot for a pivot up. This, we had the pivot down, so we could see a multi-week run lower. That does not mean every day has to be lower. What I'm really watching for, though, is if we trigger the double top. Dow breaking the trend line with a close. Yesterday, technically broke it intraday, but then closed above it. Today, closing, testing that 50 again and closing below the trend line, but not triggered yet on the double. That's what I'll be watching for over the next couple days. And no line with drive-through is strange. Well, at least hope your food was good. What's your take on today's price action? Jerome effect or zero? It was Jerome. It was people trying to trade every answer in the press conference. I mean, this was absurd. Here, let me just this was the press conference. Here was the key level. I was watching for a breakout close above, but break above, close below. Break above, close below. Break above, close below. And then we got the reversal near the end and the break lower going into the close. I was looking at 41.15 as I outlined this morning, and then the low area at 41.06. But that after the breakdown. And this was a classic pattern right here. Let me just jump down real quick. So you see close below on the 5 and the 15 minute. So this was prior support, retest, retest, next rollover. I love this pattern. It was tougher to trade due to volatility with that volatility, but that was all Powell. Now, you get the 0-day options exaggerate the moves, but remember we were also in negative gamma territory. This 4100 is now key. It's still going to be key going into the end of the week. So we looked at the Dow. Russell actually performing the best today, up 63 basis points. You see tried to break up and then closing back into consolidation. I'm still watching for a rollover play with daily cycles at the top on the Russell and weekly rolling over. And this is interesting because the Russell's against very key support. If we break this, it could get very interesting with a potential retest of about 1660 in the Russell over the next, I hate to say a couple days, but I'd be watching for it, especially if we break lower going into next week. VIX still asleep, up close, but still asleep. We still have a potential double bottom. So that could lead to, you know, maybe if the S&P double top, the Dow double top triggers, the double bottom triggers, and we make a quick little run in the VIX. One day, and with the J Powell out of the way, little quick reversal. So I'm expecting this to come back down. But we still have non-farm payrolls, which is not as important for Friday now. DAX still holding the rotation zone. Ugh. Nothing new to talk about there, just inside day. Did anybody check the yield curves? The notes were still, I'm climbing up to the next target. 116.18 is my next key target. Remember, just we haven't touched on it a bit. We've had this double bottom pattern. We're back into the key triggering area. This could, again, now it's above the 50 again. We could not get a key close above the 50. Now above the 50 again. And we could see continuing upwards pressure now, especially with the Fed probably the last hike, at least for a bit out of the way. We could see some double trigger in there. So I'm keeping a close eye on that now. By the way, yield curves, the 10-2s sort of still in consolidation, but look at the 3-month. Oh, geez. Look at this. Minus 177 basis points. There is no steepening. Went sideways and now just getting shellacked lower. But boy, if we actually get some moves that reverse this downtrend, it's going to get interesting. Until that happens, whew. What else do we have? Dollar index, by the way, the confirmed but not triggered. It's why I try to tell people, wait for the close. And if you're going to try to trade something intraday, if it does not close, you don't carry it. Because the double bottom officially turned into a triple bottom. What does that mean? It also so triple bottom slightly favors a continuation pattern, but only by a couple percentage points. So it's still, I'm still watching for a potential bottom. I think something's going to trigger a run on the dollar. Yes, if it breaks down though below 131. Next target, 99.85. Crude, shellacked. So next target on that, 66.76. Crude just rolling over, but it is getting oversold. So I'm watching for down here for a somewhat of a bottom pattern to start forming. Natty gas, just nothing going on there. Gold, little pop there. So, and this, again, above these levels, going to be watching for a return to the high. I'm still watching for a rollover play. This is waning momentum. We're getting daily cycles back to the top. In the short term, could see a little more of a pop. But again, there's no topping pattern just yet. How does NVIDIA stay up after AMD getting smacked? Well, NVIDIA is one of the few that's keeping the market propped up. So, and NVIDIA, I mean, based off of like AMD, Qualcomm, is NVIDIA going to disappoint coming in on the 24th of May? It could hold up going into earnings. Japanese yen continues its pullback. Remember, I was talking about a topping pattern, watching for it in here, and we, after finishing the double targets and retesting the highs, just pulling back rather nicely. Still, there's no bottoming pattern on this. Nothing yet. Euro, you can see the double top now turned into a 1, 2, 3. A triple, triple, triple. If it break out tomorrow above today's high, 111.17 is the key area. I'm also going to see where this comes up to about what I just go 111.17, 111.18, then 111.42 on the breakout plays. But this, which never confirmed or triggered, off the table. And now we have a nice little trend line redraw, which is this is broken, will be below the rotation zone. But until that, the euro's still holding up nicely with the rotation zone. Still no close below the rotation zone since the first cross. Pound, no close below the rotation zone. Again, newer people, rotation zone is the 8 EMA and 21 EMA. Where we watch for rotations, and look at all these rotations back up. Is this a little mini double? Yes, it is. Is it one of the high probability varieties? No, it's not. Why? Because of the formation going into it. But I will still watch for a close below 124.35. Tesla can't, again, it's pretty much consolidation. Still watching for a break below about 159 at this point, or a breakout above 166. Other than that, and I'm favoring the breakdown, not only because the topping pattern's been triggered, but because it's going against the rotation zones going down. All right. I don't know if he's really going to say if he... I think he's sort of got to say that. How would things react? I mean, if he says, I think we're going to have a recession and people are going to be hammering on him, well, things start cutting. I know, NVIDIA has a ridiculous PE. It's priced off the charts. It's priced beyond perfection. You bought WBA today. Walgreens Boots Alliance. I cannot stand that name. Well, you're against key support. You have a dividend yield of 5.5. You're in a very key support area, but this is not a pretty chart right now. Also, CVS, which did report breaking key support. So Walgreens could be getting dragged down with that also. The only thing you got going for you with Walgreens is you already round tripped at the 87.5. This is between this 31.88 to 30.39. You're in a pretty major support area from price action and a harmonic standpoint. If you break 30.39, I would not, even with that dividend play, I'd be watching for lower price action. Where does that look like on the weekly? Because this is ugly. Now, this is just ugly. Yeah, you start breaking below this $30. What this is not would not be good. We could easily hit back down to the mid to low 20s. So just be careful with that because it's a 5% dividend, but this thing could drop easily well more than 5% in the next bit, especially if they miss earnings. Gold broke out to the upside and is now going to retest its most recent high area. We still have people that not giving it, even retail people I talk to, they're like, fundamentals don't matter. That's why they don't care. You bring up Qualcomm's PE and they're like, that doesn't matter. Like, it does at some point. No, it doesn't matter. So, and you even have a lot of people, professionals on the street, are like, fundamentals are dead. It's all momentum trading. You just got to trade the momentum. All right. I hope your timing's right. Solar Edge, good earnings. Yeah, it'll pop up on there. It might. I gotta change my levels around. So. All right. Hubs. I'm gonna keep this live stream again shorter. Whew. Holy smokes. Well, they had earnings. What'd they do? They beat. Some point the valuations will come back down, but you know what? Gonna go till it doesn't. All right, with that, let's just again peek in. We should be getting to the close in the market. I just want to see where these things are closing. And then we're going to call it a day. The NASDAQ right at the rotation zone in the 50% retracement. And we'll just look at the levels tomorrow. But if you need about, I'd still use roughly these same levels from today to the upside. The downside, again, 13K for the NASDAQ. The S&P, which continues to weaken, I'm thinking this is going to tap the 50 easily overnight or tomorrow. Wow, that looks like a lot of weakness into the close. Yep. Yeah, so it'll be, traditionally I watched the 50. It's already been softened once. So we could get a minor bounce, but then if we get momentum through the 50, it would, 40, 68, 75 is very, very key. All right. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I will be back tomorrow. Remember, unemployment numbers at 7:30. Persuasive learned from Powell. Tomorrow, do not forget about balance of trade and initial and continuing jobless claims. Both are expected, initials expected to bump up higher than previous at 240 to 245K, continuing over 1800 again, 1866, 1865, but higher than previous. So let's see if that trend continues. With that, I will call it a day. Thank you, Charles. Thank you, Paul. And I shall see everyone tomorrow morning. Bye for now.